What do you do with a robot that shoots plastic rings, picks up things, and moves around not only back and forth, but side to side? If you're a member of the Manchester Machine Makers, you developed the software and the hardware to take your machine to the state's first tech challenge, where you win a first place in the Think Award category, which was held Saturday, March 13th. About 30 teams competed at the event, coming from across Vermont and from several other states. The day before the big event, the team, consisting of students from Burton Academy, Long Trail School, and the Dorset School, showed off their creation and put it through its paces at the former Bennington County Courthouse in Manchester Village. That's where we met up with several of the students on the team and one of their coaches, Mike Cole.
This is the robot that we designed from a blank piece of paper about starting 6 months ago. We had a challenge that was announced by the Worldwide First Tech Challenge organization. And our team, then of 3 students, expanded itself to have 5 students on the team from 3 Manchester area schools, organized as a 4-H club, and we began the process of designing this robot that would have to hopefully be able to accomplish all of the different scoreable objectives that the game allowed. It would operate in a match that had 2.5 minutes, the first 30 seconds of which would be the bot operating completely autonomously without any operator involvement. And it has to do its set of tasks. And then the following 2 minutes where the driver is interacting with the robot and using it to play the game. This year with COVID, we've overcome the challenges of the pandemic and the safeties that we've needed to follow by doing all of the design for this remotely from one another. So we had our last in-person meeting doing any of the work on this in early November. So through all of December, January, February, and really up until Monday of this week, we had not met together as individuals for all of that period.
Several of the team members explained to us what was going on.
Kind of just put together by all of us. We separated it into different sub-assemblies. So, like, I worked on the intake and the wobble grabber and the barrel. Isaac also worked on the magazine. He also worked on the shooter a lot. Jason was working on the color sensor. Taylor, who isn't here today, was working on the drive base. Alex did a lot of the programming, and so did Isaac. And so we all put that together, and so now we have the intake, which is kind of where everything is going to start, which is wheels, axles, chain system, pulley system. And so those are gecko wheels, which are like compliant wheels, but a little different. They're harder on the inside or all the way through. And then as it goes up, there is a top layer of wheels and a bottom layer of wheels, which spin opposite to each other, which kind of makes a weird kind of, I want to say conveyor belt, but that's wrong. Anyone have a better word for what we could, how we could describe how the wheels work?
I think you're doing great.
I've just been calling it a wheel ramp, which it brings it up with the top wheels, bringing it up as well, which then goes into the barrel, which we made out of a pitcher, just because it fit the rings so well. Why is this?
It's stuck. The arm got.
Oh, shoot.
The arm got caught in between it. The arm is still going back too far, so it got caught in between the different sections of the controller, which is hooked up to a phone. And then this phone uses a direct Wi-Fi connection to the control hubs on the bots. So the controls go through here into the control hubs. And then the control hub is connected all of the wiring to the rest of the bot, such as the servos and the motors, and it gives those the power commands on what they need to do, and is also connected to the sensors and such for the autonomous. The most difficult challenge I think that we've had this year is the integration of the bot, both in hardware and software, because as we weren't able to meet in person, as Charlotte mentioned, it was very difficult to get the parts integrated and working together. Each of us designed a working part on its own, but to put all of those parts together into a larger bot that worked was the most challenging piece of this.
The team wasn't always able to meet as one, and even today, Alex Rutens, an 8th grader from the Dorset School, took part remotely at the demonstration.
I'd say the hardest part for me has probably been, the integration and also just debugging, getting it to work, because since I'm not there, I can't actually see what they're seeing. So, for example, if they're programming in a specific way on the bot and on bot Java where they're connected to the bot, then I can't connect through remote desktop and I can't actually see what they're coding. And so that makes it very, very hard for me to help debug their code since I can't actually see the code. I just have to debug through talking to them.
In addition to Alex and Charlotte Ruley, an 11th grader at BBA, and Isaac Vernon, a BBA 9th grader, the team included Taylor Jarvis, a Burn Burton Academy 11th grader, and Jason Guija, a 7th grader from Long Trail School.
The most fun part was probably designing the robot and then getting to see it to be finished, because you design it all by yourself and with a team, so you get all these different ideas that get integrated all into each other and all made into one final design. And sometimes it turns out the way that you want it to, and sometimes it doesn't, but for this one I think it turned out pretty well.
The Think Award that the team took a first place in is one of 7 judged awards that were presented at the event, and primarily focuses on the team's use of math and science to drive its engineering design process. At last year's Vermont State Championship, the team's rookie year, they were recognized with a 2nd place for the same award. In addition to Mike Cole, Meg Ruley was another coach, with Bob Ruley and Patty Rootens helping as mentors. The team is a chartered 4-H club by the UVM Extension, and they are always open to having new members join the team, Coach Cole said. For the GNAT-TV News Project, I'm Andrew McKeever.